Some of the original Diablo II devs have just launched a Kickstarter for Darkhaven, a new aRPG that they're working on. And you can play the free demo on Steam right now. Hey folks, this is Riker, and I've spoken about this game before. About 6 months ago, I presented a video talking about Moonbeast's upcoming game. They have now revealed the name Darkhaven. They have an updated build, and in this video, I'm going to focus on what's new since then, what they're planning to do in the future if their Kickstarter is successful. They're looking to raise $500,000 US, and within their first day, they already hit 100,000. And if you folks haven't seen my original video covering this game, I encourage you to check it out. You can find the link over here or on my website, Riker.com, which brings us to a word from this video's sponsor. I built my website using Squarespace, and I was able to do it all myself, quickly and easily, and with no education in the field. All thanks to how easy Squarespace is to work with. Squarespace offers a ton of pre-made, professionally designed website templates for any kind of website. They also offer Blueprint AI, which is an AI-enhanced website builder to help you fully customize a beautiful-looking, personalized website made just for your needs and your identity. Squarespace even has optimized SEO tools so that you can launch your website and start getting views as quickly as possible through search engine traffic. Plus, they got analytics to then review where your traffic's coming from. You can also sell products or services, with Squarespace providing everything you need to engage customers, from easy online payment methods to built-in tools for inventory, shipping, and fulfillment. That includes custom merch. You just send in designs, and Squarespace handles everything else. Basically, if you want to build a website, I recommend Squarespace. So head to squarespace.com/Riker, or click the link in the description to start your free trial and use code Riker to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain when you're ready to launch. That's squarespace.com/RIKER and use code Riker. So folks, what is Darkhaven? This is not a new Diablo. This is not really comparable to any other aRPG that's out there. They are doing something new in this space, something that has not been done before. Darkhaven is all about its dynamic, buildable, destructible worlds. You're going to get Diablo DNA in there, Diablo-style itemization and progression, but you're going to combine this with these open-ended sandbox worlds that are procedurally generated and dynamically responsive. You will leave your mark on this world through the destruction that you leave in your wake, and there are events in the world that will also reshape the world and overtake it, and you either put a stop to that or you encourage it if you want. Imagine Diablo 4's Helltide, but it has a permanent effect on reshaping, transforming the landscape, and you see it happen in real time. Now, who is working on this game? Peter, who is working on this game?
Who is on first?
Peter, who is the president of Moonbeast, he was a programmer on D2, and he's responsible for a lot of those awesome runeword patches later on in D2's life. The CEO of Moonbeast is Phil Shank the Overseer. He wrote the World Bible for Diablo. These two founded Moonbeast, and then they brought in Eric Schaefer as their chief creative officer. Eric Schaefer of the Schaefer brothers, he's one of the 3 founders of Blizzard North, and therefore one of the 3 fathers of Diablo. And since then, they brought in a lot of other aRPG veterans to their team. But these guys are an indie team. They want to stay indie. That's where they're going to Kickstarter in order to fund this game into alpha. So the world and how you navigate it is a big part of this game. It's almost a character unto itself. It is emergent storytelling. Every time you create a new world and you play through the game, you're going to experience a new story. So for those of you who really like the storytelling of Diablo II, for instance, where it's not like a story put in your face, a narrative that you're led, not that there's anything wrong with that necessarily, but some people prefer the more emergent, passive storytelling of the world. And this game takes it to the next level by literally, like, your world will shape and change as you play through it. And, within the demo, right, the main, narrative beat is this takeover event of this necropolis that begins to grow and spread. And you have to kill Narlathak, not Neelathak, but Narlathak, the Lich, who is responsible for this. And once you eventually kill him, he's sort of the capstone boss of this demo. Once you kill him, that stops the necropolis from spreading. But until you do that, it's going to keep going, overtaking your existing world, destroying waypoints, destroying what's there, and also elevating the challenge level of that area. You literally see as well the necropolis rising from the ground. You can be standing on it and it's shooting up from the ground. the City of the Dead. And so the demo currently, don't expect something super polished, don't expect something super optimized as well. Optimization is something in-game development that happens far later on, but it ran well on my system. Overall, the demo is a lot more polished than you see a lot of like early access games launch into. It's clear that these guys are veterans, but the demo really just gives a glimpse of what they want to accomplish. And so something more that they want to do is more takeover zones. They want to do a whole winter is coming, an additional takeover zone that could spawn, that brings a whole like new biome of cold and ice and tundra. Then how you navigate this world is also going to be very different from your traditional aRPGs in that you are not confined to even a pseudo grid. You are in full 3D movement. You can rotate your camera and you can jump and double jump and swim through water. Yes, water isn't some obstacle that our great heroes are somehow hydrophobic. You can jump down from cliffs, you can jump up, you can fall from great heights, and you can get boots of feather fall so that you don't take fall damage and break your shins. You can get boots of water walking to walk across water if because you're going to be faster that way than swimming. And there are monsters that are going to be faster in water, so if you want to get away from those monsters, pop on your boots of water walking. You can even walk across lava, because there's lava in the game, and there's full fluid physics engine implemented. You'll still burn if you walk on lava, but it's going to be not as bad as submerging yourself in lava. Now, the upside of having a jump feature in the game is also that that's part of the combat. I'm often finding myself jumping over monsters, right? If I'm getting surrounded, well, I just jump over a monster, or enemies are shooting projectiles at me, because those dastardly monsters tend to do that quite a bit. You jump over the projectile. It gives you a lot more agency of dodging, and you also have like a literal dodge button to give a quick dash forward. You can jump in the air and dash through the air, combine that with the double jump. There's a lot of mobility and movement options here. They've also implemented multiplayer in this demo. I was really surprised. They have up to 20 player multiplayer. You can have a public game, a private game. So I started up a server slam game where I asked people in my Twitch chat to hop into my server, and we had a whole bunch of fun, and the trolling potential is maximum. With we had someone go divert a river, dug a river to flood our hometown. It was hilarious. Then we had other people building up walls, retainer walls, to stop monsters from coming into our town. Because yes, not only can you destroy terrain, you can also build. You can build walls and you can construct things. And you can divert water, if you're not a troll, into lava to solidify that into stone. Or you can be a troll, and while players are AFK, you can build walls to box in their characters. Or you can write rude words in walls across the map. Netcode is something that's so difficult to get right. You see so many games launch into like early access with like just terrible multiplayer, terrible netcode, because a lot of new devs don't really recognize how difficult it is to get multiplayer working right without problems. And it's already super smooth. Sure, I mean, there's some bugs. We dropped a couple of times in our several hour playthrough, but for what it could have been, given the pre-alpha state we're in, multiplayer already shows a lot of promise of working well. I thought, like, man, you're gonna have like several people in a server, all with this destructible voxel terrain, people in different areas of the map, destroying the area in different places, and the takeover events happening. How is this going to work for everyone, and everyone gets localized to the same world state? And it just works. I know some people are concerned about scaling in multiplayer. I don't know exactly how it works. I know one person said that they quit multiplayer because the scaling made it too difficult. So when I did my big server slam multiplayer server, I picked the easiest game mode. They give us a lot of difficulty settings, and on the easiest setting, it was totally manageable to play with a ton of people in the server, even when we were not working together to kill monsters. But ultimately, stuff like that is semantics, balancing stuff and whatever can always be worked out in the future. Really, we just are conveying the spirit of what the game seeks to accomplish here. Not only can you pick between private or public when you make a server or join a server, you could also choose between full co-op or a PvP server. And that ties largely into a big part of what else will set this game apart, and that's modding support. They really want to empower players to be able to play this game however we want to play it. And no aRPG has done this. The aRPGs right now that have modding support in the sense that they don't prevent us from running mods, which is like the bare minimum of modding support, right? So like Diablo 4 has no form of modding support. Most modern aRPGs, right, have no form of modding support. Things like Grim Dawn or even like classic Diablo 2, they have modding support in that they won't stop you from running mods, but they're not going to help you run mods in any way. And with Darkhaven, they are already giving us in-game right now a map editor of sorts, and they really want to empower users to create mods. They want to see people running mods and customizing the game however they want and building their own campaigns in the game. And, you know, if there's something that you want, if you want to build your own class and build your own whatever, you know, just a modder's haven in the same way that, you know, a Minecraft is. And as someone who loves modding, that's such a huge sell for me. I've always wanted an aRPG that really has robust modding support. For those who like to have sort of mysteries and secrets to discover in the world, within the dungeons there tend to be places with false walls, and because you can destroy the terrain, you go diggy diggy, or you just use your mana to blast the wall with whatever power you have, and boom, you unearth a passage into a chamber filled with loot and monsters that somehow didn't starve to death. There's even a day-night cycle that makes an actual difference. Again, it's all part of this living, breathing world, and when night falls, the area level of all the areas rises by, I don't know if it's 1 or 2, but yeah, so the world does not scale with you. The world has zones, call them biomes or different areas, and while it's procedurally generated, the areas themselves are known. So like you're going to get the same, you know, stony field, they have a stony field, will always spawn, but where it spawns and its exact layout and size will shift and change. But I believe its area level will always be static. But at night, the world just gets more difficult, so maybe you fall back to an easier zone. Maybe different monsters come out. The monsters that spawn are higher level, again, keyed to the area level. Now, while they're doing a lot that is new, there is still a lot that is classic aRPG. Itemization is one of them. Get out of here, monster. So every item type, you can tell these are the D2 devs, every item type has a purpose. So I have my yellow rare items, I have some blue items. You also have white item bases that I used as crafting bases. So this belt right here, no, not this belt, hold on, this armor. This was a white base that I got with the right sockets that I wanted to craft, and it's like the best, it is now the best armor that I've found in the game. I customized it specifically for lightning damage because these are the D2 devs. Lightning is the most dastardly thing that could possibly be thrown against you. That's why I have 82 lightning resist and nothing else. But that's because within it, I have a couple different types of items. I have the lapis, that's giving me the lightning resist plus the extra armor. But then I also have a heart. Narlafak's heart, which is giving me a bunch of vitality. But you can see here as well, this belt was a white base belt. I slapped some mana regen on it because Narlafak's heart, again another unique heart, it gives me mana regen, which is such a strong stat in this game. I combine that with my amulet as well. 1 mana regen per second. Mana regen is, man, because you do not naturally generate mana, so any source of mana gen is super good. Now I've also found a couple unique items. Uniques are super giga rare. So we have this one here, Key of Silver Flame. It adds fire damage, and it does something really interesting. 42% more damage to creatures of shadow, and less damage taken from creatures of shadow. So very interesting there. And then we have this Ember Thorn, which is for fire builds, basically. It's fire imbued, it adds more fire damage, and it turns your Flame Lash into, instead of a physical or a blood skill, basically a fire skill that burns enemies. Now, see here, I have a bunch of crafting bases that I've saved for socket items. You'll notice some of these sockets are these gold sockets, and those are unique sockets. So these unique hearts, which are powerful socketables that drop from bosses, you gotta farm them, they don't always drop. So it's not just about finding the right number of sockets, it's also the right type of sockets. So crafting is actually pretty robust in this game, and it all comes down to your gems, your runes, and your hearts. So hearts also have common versions, which will drop from just regular monsters, and they're not as powerful, but then those unique hearts are really good, and you want to pick how you use them. Now, runes, apparently they have rune words. I haven't found a rune word recipe, but each rune by itself does something. These are the 4 types of runes that I've found so far. Now, the interesting thing about runes is that they have multiple uses. So you can put it into an item and it just does what it says. Right here gives you plus attack or plus armor, but there's also a tattoo effect. More on that in a bit, but then there's also the rune word effect. Again, I don't know what the rune words are. I know we do have a Herodra Cube type of item, and I use it to transmute my gems. I've not figured out what other recipes there are, other than the 3 gems into the next tier of gem, but I'm sure there's going to be some great rune word recipes there, and I look forward to seeing what the rune words are. But the rune tattoos. So runes have transformational effects when used as tattoos. They will have a huge impact on changing how a skill works. So we have one skill that lets you summon a bunch of crows, and they last for a certain amount of seconds. This Ka rune, if you equip it in a tattoo, will limit you to only 2 crows. You can have up to 8 normally, but they last forever. The Elm rune turns Bone Storm into Bloodstorm. So that's what I have right now. That's why I'm shooting red projectiles instead of my bone projectiles, and they bounce around. This is my favorite skill. It just freaking bounces around everywhere. All the bounces that you get, it's awesome. The Deb rune turns the Spinebreaker skill into a boomerang, basically. The Ash rune makes lightning shocks affect enemies on a certain skill. So they are transformational, and you slot them into the tattoo slots here. So I have the Elm rune slotted there. I also have, oh yes, I have the Bat rune, which makes my Bloodlash entangle enemies. Bloodlash is a power that is like Scorpion's "get over here." But now with the Bat rune, it instead leaves the enemy where they are and roots them in place. That is so useful to my build of being a ranged build that wants to keep enemies at bay. And what's also cool about these tattoos is that, look, depending on the slot that you put it in, it visually impacts your character. It doesn't have a mechanical effect, but it's a cool visual effect. So you're able to equip all of these tattoos if you want to. They've also updated what the skill tree looks like. Again, this is just a glimpse of what it's going to be in the future. They want to further expand the witch class. Right now, there's only one class to play, and there's only a female option. My understanding is they want to add a male option for the witch as well, and also add other classes. They also, in the future, they want to enable you to multi-class, where basically, like, these are the skill trees, and you'll be able to mix and match skill trees. They say there's going to be thousands of combinations. That's in their idealized version. That's why, folks, we got to get this Kickstarter funded. But right now, the way the skill system works, sometimes when you level up, you get skill points, and sometimes you get option upgrades. So sometimes you're able to unlock new skills, and sometimes you get points to invest into your skill. So right here, my Bone Storm, you put 1 point to unlock Bone Storm. Then your option upgrades, I've put 3 into Reflecting Shot to get a bunch more bounces off of my projectiles, which is super awesome. Then with my Bloodlash here, I've put a point into Life Leech. So it's important to bear in mind, folks, when looking at Darkhaven, and again, I encourage you to try it out for yourself. This is a glimpse of what it is they want to accomplish. Don't look at this as a finished product, right? This is a pre-alpha demo. The public rarely gets to see things like this. This is typically the kind of stuff that you would show an investor. And a lot of Kickstarter games launch without even having a demo at all. Other things that they want to expand on is adding new enemies, in particular, a lot more boss enemies. They want to add more NPCs, more quests. They want to add more biomes. Another sort of biome they want to add is the volcanic biome that could periodically pop up just like a volcano and it starts shooting out lava. So folks, I encourage you to check out Darkhaven for yourself. I feel there's so much promise here. I want to see this vision realized. I want an aRPG with modding. These guys are doing something different. So do try out the demo on Steam and back the Kickstarter if you also want to see this vision realized. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to join Riker's Raiders for more aRPG content.